How's it going? This is GWX 11 again. Here's a little quick projects update. We got the 1965 Plymouth Barracuda right here. Got the Magnum swap in, and performing pretty good. Only one problem is had to pull the 904 transmission out again, which really sucked, but was a lot better compared to pulling the 904 out of the 65 Valiant right there to replace the input shaft seal that the torque converter seats against. That little orange seal right there. Anyways, yeah, this took about 3 hours to pull out. And it didn't fall on my stomach when I got it out. It was just using a 2x4 going across the pan on that jack right there, and pretty much undid everything. Slid a hammer under the oil pan on this motor to keep everything upright. Can't really see right now, but this is the later 904 transmission. And I'm gonna have my trans guy take out all the nougats that he put in there, my rebuild kit, into this one. This one came out of a 74 Plymouth Satellite or Roadrunner that had a blown 318 in front of it. Blown, I mean as in like blown up, destroyed. So yeah, getting back to this transmission, yeah, you'd think it would just function right once it's all rebuilt, but that's not what happened. And I ended up like taking out the valve body and doing several things, and I just still didn't have reverse or even first gear. And I even had a group of buddies actually push me out into the street so I could just go down the road and take it for a quick test drive. And it was just a complete dog. I was hardly getting any power to the rear wheels. And if I had to guess, I was probably starting out in second or third gear. So, it was pretty bad. So, at first I thought it was probably the shift kit that I had installed on here, at least most of it. And that wasn't the case, because I took this valve body from a 64, I believe, slant 6 904, and swapped the stock springs back on to here for the line pressure, and set the line pressure accordingly to the service manual and put that back in. And that still didn't change anything. And I got pretty annoyed having to keep collecting fluid and filtering it back in and all that stuff. So decided to take it out and go a different route. Go with the later 904, do away with the push button cable shift transmission. You know, just go with the type of transmission that makes sense. They started doing this in 66, because I would know that because I also have a 1966 Plymouth Barracuda with the same setup. So slip yoke, shaft seal, a lot nicer setup, you know, versus this, where you got a parking lock on the back under there too. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to give that my trans guy. He's going to swap all the nougats in there, get that back into the CUDA, and we should be in good shape. Also have a drive shift already made to work with this transmission, the slip yoke type. And it's going to be a lot easier to bolt up the torque converter to the flex plate, because the other one, this torque converter, 65 torque converter, has a smaller pilot on the back, so it doesn't sit securely into the back of the crank. It does on that 273 because, well, that one's a 67, so I guess it must have been the same still. So, yeah, the pilot off of that recessed no problem into that 273 when I had it in the Barracuda, but for the 318 Magnum, I had to actually use a, let's see, a crowbar to lift up the torque converter just barely so I could get stuff to line up, get all the bolt holes to line up, and get the torque converter bolted on to the flex plate. So this one's going to be a lot easier because it's the correct size pilot, and it's going to sit in that recess a lot better, work a lot better. If I were to use this transmission with that torque converter on one of these 273s, it wouldn't work because the pilot is too big. And I couldn't take that torque converter throw on here because the splines on these shafts between each other are different. That's just a theoretically speaking, not that I would ever really choose to do that. Anyways, so yeah, we'll head back to over here. 318 Magnum. Gotta get some TTI headers for it eventually. And then this is my first Magnum swap with the stock serpentine belt system. They are very fun and torquey little motors, and I will never go back to the LA style. Even though they're good motors, they just stock wise just don't have that much power for these 273s. And we still have the 360 Magnum right here. Eventually when I get a new job, I'll start working on that and get the Blue 65 Plymouth Barracuda up and running again. Still working on the 66 with a brake issue where I've replaced all the wheel cylinders. And the rear passengers just still likes to lock up, and I've had somebody suggest that's probably my rear, one of the axle seals has gone bad and grease is getting in there and causing it to lock up. And he says that you would think that it would just make it slip more with having grease in there, but supposedly it does the opposite. So yeah, I gotta get that sorted, but right now just main focuses are getting these transmissions going. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this one, but I know I'm gonna be getting this in the back into there pretty soon, and either going with an aftermarket shifter or possibly buy a special cable where it still lets me use my stock floor shifter, which would be pretty nice. So anyways, I'll keep you guys posted on what happens. And oh, forgot to mention, there's a 360 that came out of the 86 Dodge Ram W150. I parted out all down to bare block. No idea what I'm going to do with that, so that's probably going to get sold pretty soon. I was going to keep going on my part series videos of that, but didn't really keep up on it, and that's why I'm deciding to do the 360 Magnum fuel injected too. So anyways guys, thanks for watching. Gotta get another movie maker on my computer so I can edit these videos better. So anyways, Mopar no car. See ya.